Dr. Lena Voss was a calm and curious woman who worked for a world space agency. She studied languages and cultures and helped people understand new things. She loved learning about space and always believed that humans were not alone in the universe. Her job was to be ready if anything ever came from the stars. People trusted her because she was smart and kind, and she always asked the right questions. Earth had changed a lot over the last few years. Big storms, fires, and floods had hurt many places. Some countries had even fought small wars with smart machines. After all the pain and fear, the nations of Earth finally agreed to stop fighting. They came together and built a global council to make decisions as one. It was not perfect, but it brought peace. People started building again. They fixed cities and learned to live better with nature and machines. Slowly, hope returned. Lena worked in a tall glass building with clean halls and quiet rooms. Screens on every wall showed stars and planets. Machines tracked space objects, and scientists looked for signs of life. They had just started using fusion power to fly faster in space. Everyone believed that first contact with aliens would happen one day, but maybe not for many years. Still, they waited and watched the sky every day. One morning, everything changed. The world was quiet, more quiet than usual. Lena noticed that her screens turned black. Her radio stopped working. Her computer made no sound. Phones all over the building shut down. Outside, cars slowed down and planes paused in the sky. People came outside and looked up. Something strange was happening in the air above them. A soft white light appeared high above Earth. It started small, like a line, but it grew fast. It moved across the sky like a giant web made of glass and light. It was not a storm. It was not smoke or fire. It looked like a smooth net wrapping around the whole planet. It did not touch the ground, but it covered everything in space. It looked beautiful and scary at the same time. Nothing was broken, but everything felt wrong. Satellites stopped working. Space stations stopped calling Earth. Probes that were far away went silent. The sky had closed like a door, and the Earth was now locked inside. No one knew who made the shield or how it was built. It had appeared so fast and so quietly. There was no warning, no sound, and no ship. Then every screen on Earth turned back on. Phones, TVs, computers, even old ones showed one message. It came in every human language. People read it in English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, and even in old forgotten tongues. The message had only one line. It said, "You are protected. Do not interfere." There was no name, no face, no reason. All around the world, people reacted in different ways. Some were afraid and hid in their homes. Some went outside and looked up with open arms. Some cried. Some prayed. Some asked if this was a gift from God, while others thought it was a trap. Leaders from every country tried to understand. Scientists checked their tools. Generals called emergency meetings. But no one knew what to do. The shield was too big and too quiet. It did nothing more, but it changed everything. Inside the agency, Lena sat still in her chair. Her heart was beating fast, but her mind was calm. She thought about the message. She thought about the word protected. It was a kind word, but it also felt like a warning. Protected from what? What was coming? Who sent the shield? Was it a wall to keep danger out, or to keep humans in? She looked again at the quiet sky on her broken screens. The stars were still there, but now they felt farther away. The dreams of space had been paused, maybe even taken away. The sky had become strange and silent. The world waited in fear and wonder, and Lena knew this was only the beginning. The shield in the sky did not go away. It stayed around Earth like a giant, invisible bubble. No one could touch it. No one could pass through it. But everyone could feel that it was there. The air looked strange, like it was thinner. The clouds moved slower. The sunlight seemed soft, like it passed through glass. At night, stars were still there, but they looked smaller and weaker. Birds flew in circles, and even animals acted confused. Something had changed. The world felt different now, and everyone noticed it. People everywhere stopped doing normal things. Some went to work, but many stayed home. Some gathered in groups to pray. Others sat in silence, looking up at the sky. Everyone was asking the same question: why was Earth being protected? And from what? It was hard to think about anything else. The whole planet had gone quiet. There were fewer cars on the roads. Planes were stuck on the ground. The news talked about nothing but the strange shield. Experts, scientists, and leaders had no answers. Dr. Lena Voss sat in her office at the UNSOA building. She stared at her screen. The screen worked again, but it showed no new data. All the satellites were silent. Probes on the Moon and Mars had stopped sending messages. Even the space station above Earth was quiet. She worried about the people stuck up there. Were they scared? Were they still alive? No one knew. The shield had cut Earth off from the rest of space. It felt like being locked in a room with no doors. The people at the agency were confused and afraid, but they tried to keep working. Lena looked through old books and files. She searched for anything that might help her understand the message. "You are protected. Do not interfere." It had appeared on every phone, screen, and machine in the world. The message was short but powerful. It was not from humans. It had been sent by something far smarter. But who and why? Outside, the world was not the same. People in cities looked up at the sky with worry. Farmers in the countryside paused their work. Fishermen stayed in ports. Children stopped playing. Even pets seemed quieter. Some thought aliens were watching. Some thought the world was ending. Others believed it was a gift from kind beings in space. Still, no one knew the truth. Everyone waited. Then something new happened. A long, thin light appeared in the sky above the ocean. It moved slowly and silently. It looked like a crack of blue in the sky. It stretched wider and wider until it formed a shape like a gate. It glowed softly, but it did not hurt the eyes. People watched it from the ground, from ships, and from planes that hovered below the shield. The gate floated in the sky and made no sound. After many hours, a small object came through the gate. It looked like a ship, but not like any human ship. It was round and smooth. It had no wings, no windows, and no lights. It looked like a bubble of silver. It moved slowly down from the sky like a feather falling in water. It floated above the sea and then came close to the land. It did not land. It just stayed in the air, still and quiet. The UNSOA sent small drones to look at it. The drones flew close, but they could not touch the object. A soft force pushed them back like a wall of air. It was not angry. It did not attack. It just did not allow anything too close. Lena watched the drone videos with care. She felt like the object was waiting. It had not come to fight. It had come with a purpose. But what that purpose was, no one knew. People all over the world saw the object on their screens. Some thought it was beautiful. Some thought it was dangerous. Others thought it was a sign. News channels made guesses. Some people went to the place where it floated. They stood on hills and beaches and looked up at it. They took pictures. They held signs. Some sang. Some cried. Some simply stood in silence. A day later, the object made a new move. A beam of white light came down from it. The beam hit the ground and drew a symbol. The symbol was large, round, and full of shapes. It was not in any known language. Scientists could not read it, but many felt it meant peace. Others said it looked like a message or a key. Lena studied the symbol for hours. It looked like something she had seen long ago in a report about strange signals from deep space. More people came to see the symbol. They said the air felt warm near it. It made them feel calm. Some people stayed there for hours. They said they could think clearly when they stood near the light. Governments warned them to stay away, but they did not listen. The object did not stop them. It just hovered above, quiet and glowing. Lena was asked to keep studying the symbol. She compared it to math from alien radio signals. She looked at art, patterns, and old writings. Slowly, she found shapes that matched. It was as if this message had been sent before, long ago, and now it had returned in a new form. The shield, the gate, the object, and the symbol, they were all connected. Lena believed they were steps in a plan, but she did not yet understand the plan. Days passed. The shield stayed. The gate stayed. The object did not move again. No more lights, no more messages. The world was still, but people were changing. Some began to feel safer. They believed someone was watching over Earth. Others became afraid. They thought something bad was coming and the shield was just the start. Some even said Earth was now a zoo and humans were being kept inside. Lena kept writing reports. She used simple words so everyone could understand. She said this was not war, it was not peace, it was something new, a test maybe, a message maybe, a warning maybe, but it was not the end, it was only the beginning. She walked outside one night. The sky looked clear. The stars were still there, but now they felt far away. She wondered what lay beyond the shield. Were other planets watching too? Was Earth the only one being protected, or were others behind their own shields? The more she thought, the more questions she had, but one thing was clear. Humanity had reached into space, and now something had reached back, not with fire but with silence, not with war but with a quiet wall, not with words but with symbols. The future was not known, but the world would never be the same. People around the world were still confused. The silver object in the sky had not moved again. The gate above the ocean stayed open. The strange shield around Earth still blocked everything from outside. No more messages came. Nothing new happened, but people kept watching, waiting, and wondering. They felt trapped. Some said it felt like a cage. Others thought it was a gift, but no one could say for sure. Dr. Lena Voss woke up early every day. She worked long hours. She looked at pictures and symbols. She listened to small sounds that came from the sky. She read old space reports and talked to other smart people. They all shared what they found, but it was not much. The object in the sky was quiet. It gave no answers. It just stayed there, as if it was watching Earth like a parent watches a child. Then something strange happened. A young boy in South America stood near the glowing symbol left by the object. He touched it. The light changed colors. It turned from white to blue, then yellow, then purple. People around him said the symbol began to hum. The sound was soft and warm. The boy closed his eyes and smiled. Later, he told people he saw pictures in his head. He saw stars, ships, and other worlds. He saw faces that were not human. He said they looked kind. News about the boy spread fast. Soon, others came to try. A woman in Africa, a teacher in Japan, a pilot in Canada. Each person saw something different when they touched the symbol. Some saw space. Some saw machines. Some saw memories they did not understand. It was like the symbol was showing parts of a story. But the story was not clear. It was broken, like a puzzle with many missing pieces. Lena heard about this. She flew to the site of the symbol with a small team. She watched as people took turns stepping close. The light reacted to some but not all. Lena waited and watched. She took notes and asked questions. She tried to see if there was a pattern. Why did the light react to some people and not others? Was it testing them? Was it picking someone special? She stayed up late one night at the site. The air was still. The stars blinked above, dim behind the shield. Lena sat near the edge of the glowing circle. Then the symbol pulsed. The sound came back. A soft hum filled the air. She looked around, but no one else was near. She took a step closer. The light rose around her feet. She stopped. The light did not push her back. It welcomed her. Lena touched the middle of the symbol. The ground felt warm. Her mind filled with pictures. She saw great ships floating in the sky. She saw tall cities with light that danced. She saw creatures with long arms, wide eyes, and calm faces. She felt their thoughts. They were curious, gentle, and wise. Then the pictures changed. She saw fire. She saw broken ships. She saw a black cloud that ate stars. She saw fear. When the pictures ended, Lena fell to the ground. Her heart raced. She sat still for a long time thinking. She had seen something, not just dreams, a warning, a memory, a message. Something had come before, something terrible, and now something had returned. She shared her experience with other scientists. Some believed her, others were unsure. The world was now divided. Some people thought the shield and the object were protecting Earth from this dark force. Others said it was just a trick. Some even believed Earth had done something wrong and was now being punished. The truth was still hidden. The UNSOA held a meeting. Leaders from every part of Earth joined by video. Lena spoke to them. She explained what she saw. She told them that the symbol may be a tool, a way to teach, a way to test. Maybe the object was waiting to see if humans were ready to understand. Some leaders wanted to send fighter jets to attack the object. They were scared. They did not trust it. Others said they should stay calm and keep learning. The world was under pressure. People argued. Some wanted to break the shield. Some wanted to contact the object again. But no one knew how. Then one day something new appeared. A second object came through the sky gate. It was bigger than the first. It floated higher. It had glowing lights around it. It moved above the first object and stopped. It stayed quiet, but it brought fear. Was it a friend or an enemy? No one knew. The new object did not speak. But hours later, a dark spot appeared in the shield above the Pacific Ocean. A round hole opened, big enough to see through. Through the hole, the sky looked dark like a storm. People looked closer and saw something coming. Not a ship, not a person, a cloud. The cloud moved fast. It was black and full of small moving parts. It looked like dust or ash, but it moved like it was alive. It headed toward the shield. The second object glowed red for a second, then sent out a wave of light. The cloud stopped. Then it turned away and floated off into space. The shield closed again. People gasped. What was that thing? Was that what the objects were protecting Earth from? Lena watched the videos again and again. She knew now the shield was not a cage, it was a wall, a shield to keep something out. The cloud had not touched Earth. The object had stopped it. But what if the shield had not been there? What if the object had not come? Panic spread. People remembered the pictures seen in the symbol's light. The fire, the broken ships, the black cloud. It was real, it was close, and the shield might not hold forever. The world was no longer asking why the shield was there. Now they asked how long it would last. Lena started a project. She called it the bridge. She wanted to build a way to talk to the objects, not with machines, not with words, but with minds, symbols, and feelings. She worked with the people who had touched the light and seen the pictures. They met each day. They shared their visions. They drew what they saw. Slowly, they found patterns. The same shapes and ideas appeared in many of their drawings. They built a large screen and used lights to draw the shapes. They played sounds in the air that matched the hum of the symbol. They hoped the objects would notice. For many days, nothing happened. But then the first object moved. It turned slowly to face the screen. A small beam of light came from it. It touched the shapes. Then it drew new shapes beside them. Lena and her team watched, shocked. The object was talking back. More beams came, more shapes, then colors, then sound. It was not a voice, but it felt like music. It was not words, but it felt like a story. The object was teaching them. It was showing them ideas through pictures and tones. Lena worked day and night to understand it. She learned that the beings behind the object were old, very old. They had seen many stars and many lives. Long ago they had fought the dark cloud. They had lost many worlds. Now they looked for places to protect. They had found Earth. They had seen humans reaching for space. They had come to help. But help came with a rule: do not interfere. That meant humans must not fight back, must not try to stop the shield, must not try to break out. The danger was still near. The dark cloud had seen Earth. It had tested the shield. It would come again. The object was a guardian, but it could not win alone. Lena shared this news with the world. She used clear, kind words. She said Earth was being guarded, but not forever. One day, humans would need to decide. Would they stay behind the shield, or would they step out and face what was beyond? For now, they had time to learn, to grow, and to prepare. The people of Earth listened. Some were afraid. Some were brave, but most began to work together. Countries that once argued now shared ideas. People started building things, new tools, new ships, and new ways to learn. They studied the symbols. They listened to the sounds. They opened their minds. Lena smiled as she watched the world change. It would not be easy. It would not be fast, but Earth was waking up. The shield was not the end. It was a beginning. The world was quiet, but it was not calm. Earth was changing. People worked together like never before. They remembered the dark cloud that had come near. They knew now that it was real. They also knew the shield would not protect them forever. Every country began building new tools, new machines, and new ways to learn. Everyone knew they had to get ready for what might come next. Dr. Lena Voss worked harder than ever. She did not rest much. She stayed at the bridge project day and night. This place had become the heart of the world's hope. Here, scientists, teachers, artists, and engineers all came together. They wanted to understand the symbols and music from the sky. Lena helped guide them. She told them that every sound and light mattered. Every shape could mean something. People were scared, but they were also curious. They wanted to understand who the protectors were. They called the beings behind the shield this name because of what they had done. They had stopped the dark cloud. They had warned Earth to stay inside, but they still had not shown themselves. No one had seen their faces. No one had heard their true voice. Some people thought they were trying to help. Others still wondered if there was a secret. Lena felt something new growing inside her. It was not just fear or hope. It was a deep wish to connect. She wanted to talk to the protectors, not just with shapes and sounds, not just through machines. She wanted to feel their thoughts, to understand them like the first boy who saw their visions. She believed that if humans could connect that way, maybe they could be ready for what was coming. Then something strange happened. The shield above Earth started to shimmer. It looked like glass touched by sunlight. People looked up. They had never seen the shield do this before. Then it opened again. The round hole returned over the Pacific Ocean. But this time no cloud came. Instead, small lights floated down. They were like silver stars, soft and silent. Each one flew toward a different part of the world. Lena watched as one of the lights landed near the bridge. It was small, like a balloon, and it gave off a warm glow. It floated slowly to the ground. When it touched the earth, it changed. It became flat and wide like a circle of light. In the middle, pictures began to appear. First simple ones like trees and water, then more complex ones, shapes of human cities, stars, and even people. This was a gift, a new way to talk. Every light that landed in other places did the same. They showed pictures and shapes. They let people touch them. When someone placed a hand on the light, they saw new images in their mind. Some saw other worlds. Some saw battles. Some saw peace. It was different for everyone. Lena touched the light near her. This time the pictures came clearer than before. She saw a long path through space. Along the path were broken planets and silent moons. She saw a world that was once full of life but now was quiet and dark. She saw a shadow moving in space. It was the dark cloud again, but this time it was bigger. The image changed. She saw the protectors. They looked like light and shape, not like people or animals, but like something old and wise. They floated above a world and wrapped it in light. The cloud tried to enter, but it could not. The light was too strong. Then the images stopped. Lena stepped back. Her hands shook. She understood something now. The shield was not just protection. It was also a wall of learning. The protectors were giving Earth time. Time to understand, time to grow, and time to choose. But time was running out. The shield shimmered again. This time it did not open slowly. It burst with color and sound. A wave of red and white light shot across the sky. It circled Earth and vanished. Then the hole grew larger than before. From the deep sky, something started to come through. It was not a cloud, it was not a ship. It was something else. A shape of sharp lines and black smoke. It twisted and turned as it moved. It looked broken, yet strong. People watched with fear. Cameras from every corner of Earth pointed at the sky. The shape grew closer. The protectors did not stop it. Lena stared at the screen in front of her. She did not know what was coming. Was this a test? Was this an enemy or something worse? The shape stopped above the ocean. Then it sent a pulse. All machines on Earth stopped for 5 seconds. Lights went out. Engines went silent. Phones, radios, computers, nothing worked. Then everything turned back on. The message was clear. The shape could reach Earth if it wanted to. Lena turned to her team. She told them to send a message through the circle of light. They must ask why the protectors had not stopped this thing. The team quickly placed shapes, sounds, and light into the circle. Then they waited. The answer came fast. A beam of light from the first object in the sky reached the circle. It drew new shapes, one large, one small, one in the middle. Then a line from the middle moved up. Lena understood. The shape above Earth was not an enemy yet. It was something lost, something in between. Maybe something that used to be good, maybe something that needed help. Earth had to choose, attack it or try to talk. The world split again. Many leaders wanted to shoot it down. They did not want to wait. They did not want to risk another dark attack. Others said no. They said maybe the shape was scared too. Maybe it came to ask for help. Lena believed they had to try to talk. She stood in front of the camera. She spoke to the world. She told them about the visions, the messages, and the shape. She said this was a time for courage, not the kind that fights, but the kind that listens. Most people agreed. So Lena and her team made a new message. This one had pictures of peace. It had symbols of Earth, hands open and lights shining. They sent the message through the circle of light. The sky went still. Then the shape above the ocean pulsed with soft blue light. A second later, the hole in the shield opened more. Another object came through. It was small and clear. It floated down slowly and stopped above the ocean. Then it opened like a flower. From inside, a bright light spread across the water. In the middle of the light, something began to form. It was a being, not human, not machine. It looked like a mix of both. Its body was smooth and glowing. Its face had no eyes, but it looked at Earth. It floated above the sea and sent out a soft sound, not a word, but a feeling. It was sorrow. It was hope. Lena stepped forward. She walked into the circle of light. She let her thoughts stay open. The being's light touched hers. For a moment, everything was silent. Then pictures came. The being had once lived on a world full of light. But long ago, the dark cloud had taken that world. The being had tried to stop it. It had failed. Now it wandered space, half machine, half soul, looking for meaning. It had come to Earth not to fight, but to ask a question. Was there still hope in the stars? Lena felt her heart break and grow stronger at the same time. She knew the answer. She showed the being pictures from Earth, children, music, oceans, trees, people helping each other. She sent the feeling of hope. The being's light grew brighter. Then it flew back to the shape in the sky. The black smoke vanished. The sharp edges softened. The shape became clear like glass, and then it flew back through the hole in the shield. The sky closed. The shield shimmered once more. Earth had passed the test. The protectors sent one last message. It was not words. It was light and sound. It said, "You chose well. You are not alone." Lena stood in silence. The world had changed again, not through war, not through fear, but through understanding. This was not the end. It was only the middle. The days after the sky changed were quiet, but the world was not the same. People still talked about what they had seen. They remembered the strange object that floated above the ocean, the being of light that came down, and the feeling it sent to everyone. That feeling stayed in their hearts. It was not fear. It was not sadness. It was something new. It was the feeling of being part of something bigger. Every part of the world started to think differently. Leaders who once argued began to sit together. Scientists who worked alone began to share what they had learned. Children asked new questions in school. They wanted to know more about space, about other beings, and about what might come next. The circle of light in the sky stayed open, but nothing else came through. The shield above Earth was still there, but it glowed more gently now. It no longer looked like something blocking the stars. Now it looked like something watching, something kind. Dr. Lena Voss was back at the bridge project. She spent many days walking between rooms, looking at pictures, and listening to the soft music the lights made. She was tired, but also calm. She had seen something very old and very wise. She had shared feelings with a being from far away. She had helped the world understand that peace was possible, even with things that looked different and thought in strange ways. People now saw her as a leader, but Lena did not want power. She only wanted to keep learning. She told the team that they must stay curious. They must not stop asking why. She reminded them that the shield did not mean they were safe forever. It meant they had time to grow, time to be better. The small lights that had landed in many parts of the world were still working. People used them to send and receive thoughts, pictures, and even dreams. Some saw places they had never known. Others saw colors that made them feel joy or peace. These lights became part of daily life. In parks, in schools, and in homes, people gathered near them to share and listen. Some groups built new centers around the lights. These places were quiet and peaceful. People came not just to learn, but to reflect. They called them harmony circles. In these circles, people from different places, ages, and languages sat together. They closed their eyes. They let the lights show them gentle images. They talked about what they saw and what it made them feel. These talks helped many people understand each other better. The world began to change in small ways. Countries spent less on war and more on schools. Cities planted more trees. Rivers were cleaned. Old buildings were fixed and turned into places where people could create, paint, and play music. Even though some problems still remained, the way people looked at problems had changed. Lena started a new program. It was called the Light Seekers. It was made for young people who wanted to explore, learn, and build. These students came from all over the world. They were trained to listen deeply, to share ideas, and to respect others. They studied space, light, history, and peace. Lena told them they were not just preparing for the future, they were shaping it. One day something new happened. A tiny beam of light came from the shield. It landed on the roof of the bridge. It was soft and slow. When it touched the ground, it formed a ring. Inside the ring, a new message appeared. This time the pictures showed other planets. Some were green and full of trees. Some were red and dry. One was covered in water. The last picture showed Earth with a path leading to the stars. This was not a warning. It was an invitation. The protectors were telling Earth it was ready, ready to explore, ready to reach out. People all over the planet watched the news. Many smiled, some cried. It was a moment they had only dreamed about, but now it was real. The Global Council met the next day. Lena was there. She shared what she had seen. She said this was not a gift, it was a sign of trust. Earth had shown it could grow. Now it had to keep growing, carefully, kindly, boldly. The council agreed to build one ship, a peaceful ship, not to fight, not to take, but to learn and to share. It would be called Unity One. It would carry no weapons, only minds and hearts ready to listen. Work began at once. Nations gave their best people. The bridge became the center of planning. The ship would use the new energy systems, the ones based on the music and shapes from the sky. It would be fast, light, and smart. It would carry Lena, some light seekers, and others who had helped bring the world together. As the ship was built, people prepared in other ways too. Artists made paintings of stars. Poets wrote about light and time. Children learned about other worlds in school. Some wrote letters to beings they might never meet. They told them Earth was a planet trying to be kind. When the ship was ready, the world watched again. On launch day, the shield opened a small path. The ship rose slowly, its lights glowing like a sunrise. It passed through the shield and entered the quiet of space. Cameras showed stars blinking all around. Lena looked out the window. She felt peace. She did not know what they would find. She did not know if the protectors would speak again, but she knew this was the right path. Behind her, Earth spun like a blue pearl. Ahead of her, stars waited like old friends. Back on Earth, people watched until the ship became a dot. Then the shield closed gently once more. The world was quiet again, but not the same. People still had problems. The sky still held storms. Some hearts still held fear. But there was a new light in the world now. A light that said, we are not alone. We are not small. We are not trapped. We are part of something great, and we are ready. The bridge project kept growing. New students came. New dreams were shared. People from places that had once been silent now spoke loudly. They brought stories, songs, and ideas. They reminded the world that wisdom does not belong to one land. Lena sent messages from space. She told Earth about what they saw. She told stories of strange stars and quiet moons. She said they had not yet found other beings, but they felt their presence. She said the ship felt watched, but in a good way. One message from Lena became famous. She said, "Space is not empty, it is full of waiting." These words made people think. They remembered that waiting was not just about time, it was about being ready, ready to meet, ready to share, ready to grow. Years passed. The shield above Earth stayed strong, but it changed color with the seasons. People began to say it looked like Earth's second sky. They gave it a new name, the Veil of Peace. The lights on the ground dimmed slowly, but they were not forgotten. They were placed in special rooms, cared for like treasure. Some still glowed at night, showing quiet dreams. Children who had once been scared of the sky were now painting stars on their walls. They read books about other worlds and imagined walking on moons. The world was not perfect, but it was better. Better because people had learned to wait, to wonder, and to choose kindness over fear. And far beyond the sky, a ship kept moving.